Well, good afternoon, good morning, good afternoon, good morning, whatever it is for you. It's a morning for the team, afternoon, lunchtime for everybody else. Glad you're along. Time for a little Explorers Expresso. Dan Vaughn with you from Kansas City. All right, now we got that out of the way. Let's double check the audio, make sure the audio is working. First of all, let's check this. We got should be much better audio there. Good afternoon, good morning, good afternoon. Much better. I hope so. Afternoon, lunchtime for everybody else. No, hold on. Time for the Explorers Expresso. Dan Vaughn with you from Kansas City. All right, we got that out of the way. Let's double check. Well, the audio, I believe, is working, but it's just not what I wanted to do. Let's do much better audio there. That doesn't sound that good, but it'll work. All right, good to see you guys. Glad you're along. I'm actually trying to do one little thing here. If I can do it, this would be helpful. For some reason, my screen is acting wonky. Hold on. There we go. Nope. Nope. Oh, you guys can hear me. You know the drill, right? Let's go X's. You know the drill. If you can hear me, it's all good. I'm trying to, for some reason, I don't know why it's doing that. I'm going to try one little thing here. Let's close this out. Should not be having problems with this morning, but let's try it again. There we go. Actually, I'm going to do this. Let's just add a camera. A lot of technical mumbo jumbo that we're going to do here. I'm going to bring me down and bring me in and bring me over. Let's do that. That should help a little bit, I hope. Now let's try it. Well, still not doing what I want it to do. Oh well. I guess we'll have to fight through it. I don't like the way the audio sounds. It sounds hollow, and we have professional microphones, but for some reason, honestly, my laptop is on it's fought through it, man. It's fought through it the last 2 years, really. But man, they ain't cheap. And I've got a lot of money invested in other little odds and ends. But if the laptop sucks, then I guess it's sort of, I don't know, maybe it's a metaphor for baseball. I don't know. But yeah, it's not the way it's supposed to be. But let me do this real quick here with you guys. Let me close this out. Yep, we are live from Kansas City. Glad you guys are along today. Not, I guess, maybe the news of the day. There's really not much news. The team arriving here yesterday about 4 o'clock or so, and pretty much. Hold on just a second. I don't like this. All right, give me a moment. I'm gonna do this. Hold on. I'm gonna do this. This is driving me nuts. There we go. Okay, now that I got that sort of, let's see if this will. There we go. Okay, now we're sorted. There we go. Had to refresh the screen. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to drop you guys. All right, where was I? Howdy. We can hear you. If the parrot does show up again where we riot, he's here. I walked through the lobby a moment ago. He's here. It's very unstable, but yes, he's here. Very funny. You have good memory. It's funny you should say that because yesterday we put in our driver Rick said the very same thing. He made a really good point, and I don't know how many of these things we've talked about this year. Okay, can we go back to what I've seen and what I've talked about that have happened during these shows? Remember Winnipeg, the streaker? Remember that? We had that. We had the parrot. We've had at least, let's see, we had one. Well, yesterday, one of Sioux City's men in blue wrecked his car in front of the whole bus. It was a very odd experience. I don't know if he was in those SUVs. You know, the Sioux City's got the SUV patrol cars, and they were doing a police training thing. I assume it's a driving. They had some cones out, and I assume it was more motor. I don't know. But they had it blocked off, and they were using our. And they do this a lot. They do a regional during the summer a couple of times. They'll do regional competitions and practices there in the parking lot. So it happens. Well, poor gentleman was leaving, and he inexplicably ran right into the light poles. I mean, one of the parking lot, light standards. Boom! It's like, and things got yellow markings on it too. It was really unstable. Yes, the parent is a hotel regular. He is owned by the owner of the hotel. And she was just walking through a minute ago, and he was on shoulder. She was giving instructions to the staff. So yes, he's here. Okay, the team. What else was he say? We had that. Oh, we had the fire. Where was that? That was in Gary. Remember in Gary during the broadcast, we had one of the commuter trains caught on fire and electrical fire and kaboom right in front of the bus. And the bus broke down that same trip. We've had some crazy stuff, man. Crazy stuff. All right, team arrived here yesterday about 4 o'clock, 4:15 or so. I left at noon. Didn't make a stop. It's about right. It's about a 4-hour drive down here, roughly. So right about 4 we were here, maybe a little before. Checked in, and actually it might have been 3:45. Who knows? But I remember texting Tom, telling me we made it. We'd been there probably about 45 minutes to an hour. And I think when I talked to my wife, we'd been there over an hour. So anyway, got in. Most of the guys dispersed. I saw a few here and there doing, going to grab dinner, whatever, going to the mall. Gosh, sorry about that. Something on my eye there. But most were here. When I came in from my dinner, which was a little bit later, I went to a little further away here in Kansas City over the Missouri side and Missouri side to a place I like to go to. As I've talked about a little bit earlier, Owls. Went there, and they closed at 10. And by the time I got the Uber back, it was after 11 or whatever. And a couple of guys are coming back in from, this area's got, they got a Dave & Buster's, they got a Yard House, they've got a couple of the restaurants and pubs. There's a Chili's, and I think there's a Hooters down there. There's a place called Jazz. There's a burger place, movie theater, bunch of shopping options too. A couple other restaurants I can't remember. Sushi place. I can't remember what else. But then of course pizza and all that. So you had that going on last night. But I saw a couple guys. But by and large, everybody kind of laid low. Just got here and got a chance to it's nice to get to a place and not have to be, wake up bleary-eyed and catch a bus. A lot of times you drive in like that from another town. We get in late or early in the morning, and we've got a 3 o'clock bus. You're sleeping in the day, but that wasn't the case. So it was really nice for everybody to kind of get up. It feels like it makes it feel like you've been here. Slide over there. Makes you feel like you've been here a couple days, or at least a day or more. Get your sea legs and all that. So Kansas City came up on Sunday, and we'll get to some of these things in a moment. I'll get to that in just a moment. Jason, I want to get to what Ron said here in a moment. Ron said the game Monday night ended up a lot differently than I thought it would. Thought we'd win, but figured it would be closer. They looked like they were having fun out there on the field. I hope they play the same far tonight, really. Yeah, I would agree with all that. Ron, you're spot on. Jason, I'll get to yours in just a moment. I feel oddly confident. I don't know if that's the right. I don't play the game, so you're coming from this is from a fan / on the ground perspective. Okay, I have a hard time reading these things. I sort of thought in Fargo that what I told you in the pregame, what Mongo said, get the first inning. we should be okay. And that's what happened in game one. Now, game two, that was a really good ball game. I mean, that was a really good game. That was Fargo rolling out a guy who had your number, and you had the deck stacked against you. I mean, beating the kid Colton Davis is a big deal. Davis had won 7 ball games in August or through July and August, and had your number twice. Only time he pitched bad against you was in relief. Even the loss he got in Sioux City was a quality start. So he had your number, right? You had never seen Groats on Monday. That is good, bad. I don't know which way it looks. You're going to see Godot tonight. You've seen him. He's a big league guy like the rest of them. They're all big league guys here. That's what they do. They're starting pitching's big league guys. They've rolled out a big league guy in mop-up duty on Monday. That's what they do. But as far as my feeling, and WD says, stress. I'm with you. You liked. There's 2 ways to go about it. You have the NBA and the NBA and the NHL always have. Well, you got 2 chances to win one, right? Or I remember the Texas Rangers years ago had 2 chances to win one. They lost their game 6 chance in St. Louis, and they got throttled in game 7 in St. Louis. And that was the one where Nelson Cruz ran around the ball and missed a fly ball at the warning track and ran around it, and all hell broke loose. And Texas was 1 out away on 3 different occasions, I believe, to win the World Series. They don't do it. So you got to get 27 outs, first of all. And, the playing on house money is a great thing to say, and it sounds great because you get 2 chances to win one. That's more or less if there were gambling odds on this series and you had to pick the winner of the series, where you got 2 chances to win it. But then I'll go for the player perspective and the fan, the team perspective. They just want to do their job. And I think they believe they do their job, they'll be fine. You should tick the boxes and you should be okay. Now there's a possibility that you tick the boxes and you still lose. That's not really been the case by and large over the course of time. I would tell you tick the boxes twice in a row, you're gonna win. If you do it here, you're gonna win eventually. But yeah, I would say I'm gonna get it done tonight. Yeah, take away the monster inning. It was still very tight. Don's right. The game was tight. There was the X's did what the X's game plan was working to perfection, even with the big inning, because I think Connor and I talked about this a little bit on the post game. I believe it was great to have that extra oomph in the 7th or 8th inning, whatever. But I still felt pretty good at 4-1, 3-1, because that way, Chris Herman couldn't tie you up, or Jan Hernandez couldn't tie you up. Once you got that insurance run, where if you gave a leadoff home run up, you were just still up by 1. That was huge. And then you got the bigger runs. That was huge as well. I think you saw, in that ball game, the difference of the 2 teams. And quite frankly, for a team that Kansas City has had a really good year, has had some really good numbers pitching wise, they've done it with a lot of different pieces. Kansas City's changed a lot of the deck chairs over the course of the year. I mean, Groats and Godot weren't there when they were, one of the best pitching staffs in the league, and they finished the year with the best in the league. Of course, Sioux City was too, and they finished. It was Milwaukee, Sioux City, Kansas City, and King County, the top 4 pitching staffs in the league, and Chicago right there as well. Those are top 5. They were all right there neck and neck in different categories. The X's came in 3rd in strikeouts, had the fewest earned runs, fewest hits allowed, lowest average against. Kansas City came in, I think they were 2nd in strikeouts, and they were 3rd in ERA or 2nd in ERA. So again, there's a lot of really good pitching going on, but they've done it with a lot of different pieces. The only piece you've really added has been Parker Caracci. He wasn't here the whole way. And then Max Coons. Those 2 guys have been here. And Max was here just the very tail end of the year. So those 2 guys basically were here for 3 weeks. Everybody else you've done it with, the Diaz's, the Rakoskis, Brochure, and your starting rotation. what they've done. I mean, Verberg and Drury both started the opening weekend here. Did any of those guys? I don't think they did. Any of the Kansas City starters to Godot? Well, he wasn't their opening weekend, was he? No. So you've done it with a lot of different. You've done it with a lot of the same pieces. They've done it with some different pieces. So I would tell you what you saw last night and what you saw Monday night. Don, you're right. The monster inning, and I would also say that I thought you saw the example of what the two different philosophies of these two teams were. Steve Montgomery's not afraid to go that bullpen. Drew is pitching fine, but he has a bullpen down. He's a weapon. Why not use the weapon? And that weapon locked it down for the third time in the postseason, mind you. Remember, the only runs those bullpens gave up was given up with the two wacky pass balls in the ninth inning at Fargo last Wednesday. I mean, they've, and doesn't mean they're not going to give a run up here and there, but they've been really good. I mean, I looked at Carlos Diaz's numbers a moment ago. He's got 2 innings of nothing but strikeouts and no walks, no hits. Coons has got 4 strikeouts in 3 innings. They've been really good. And I think, again, I'm not overconfident. That's not what I'm saying. I just think that you saw the difference in the two teams, the glaring difference. And I think the other thing you saw was the defense. The defensive, even doesn't matter if they play here or in a parking lot or Yankee Stadium, the Sioux City defense is slightly better. I mean, it's been better. Kansas City had the tying run the first inning, came home on an infield single that probably should have been put in your pocket. And the little things that the X's do little things. And I don't know if it's because they have a chip on their shoulder, they have something to prove, they're trying to get to the big leagues. I don't know what it is, but for whatever reason, they make the right plays. And I go back to that play, the double play ball, the fly ball to right. Oda makes a play. I think, in Robson's defense, he thought the ball was going to get down. It didn't. But you're watching on the replay, and I remember vividly seeing Wilfredo pointing to second base to Nagowski, who caught it and spun back in. And Wilfredo's pointing and yelling, second, second, second. And they throw and get Robson. The little things. I think a body language thing. And it's been that way in this series here, too. And the thing about it is why you shouldn't, Kansas City could very easily walk out there tonight, win 9-1, and win tomorrow night 9-1 and be over. That they could do that and flip the switch like that. Don't discount that, because that could very easily happen. They could walk out there and hit 9 home runs and be done with the series in very convincing fashion. They could do that. But even here, Sioux City's played well recently and early. It's not like you go back and say, well, you played in the first of the year and that throw it away. Well, yeah, you did. So that series out. But you played them here with they were really starting to get their groove in June, late June. You played them here toe-to-toe. And quite honestly, if you make a play yourselves, you sweep a series here in June on a day game. A game that Trenton Toplicar pitched outstanding and got a hard luck loss. Then you come back here. What was it? We were just here 2 weeks ago. Wait, week and a half, fortnight ago, 10 days ago. We were here on a Tuesday 2 weeks ago. And you went toe-to-toe with them again. They're rested. You were rested. I mean, all these excuses thrown out the window. You went toe-to-toe again. So I don't know if it really, location-wise is going to change. Location-wise, not going to change body language or ability of either team. Okay? So I will throw that out. I want to go ahead and give Jason one of your keys tonight. I think, Jason, they're the same thing that we've talked about. It's the three. And it's boring. I know it's boring, and it sounds repetitive. I've said it a bunch of times, but I think you're seeing now more than ever in the postseason exactly what the game plan is. It's a three tick boxes: quality starting pitching, timely offense, and lock the bullpen down. Those 3 things have been the key. And that guy walking behind me, that doesn't hurt either. Don't tell anybody who that was. But John Nagowski. And that's part of it too. I mean, and I there's things that I don't think people have realized in the league, while we're fawning over the top teams in the league and top players. And the reason I think Steve Montgomery, and he probably won't get it, which is unfortunate, And I understand why, because it's, there's always they want the great story. But Mongo doing a couple things here that I don't think people realize. Scott Oda's played 41 ball games for this ball club. 41. He has multi-hit ball games. That means two or more hits in 18 of the 41. That includes the postseason. He's on a streak now of 6 in a row. The guy's been a machine, and no one in the league he didn't make any all-star teams. He wasn't going to. He didn't get here until after the all-star break. He's not going to be the postseason all-star team. His only chance to make any all-star accolades is going to be if he's MVP of the postseason or championship series. I mean, that's a move that Mongo made. And I remember doing the press release with Austin, and we were like, "This is a pretty good player," but we weren't like going, "Oh, we got the second coming of whoever." But he's been great. The Daniel Langwood trade with Sheeks grabbing him the Coons that last weekend. If you don't have those three pieces, how do you feel this weekend? I mean, you got a whole different lineup. And John Nagowski, I throw him coming back. That relationship of having him back makes everybody else around that lineup card better. Remember, you won Monday night without Matt Lloyd having a good night, which he's had a great postseason, but he was quiet. Do you think he's going to be quiet every night? Nah. So anyway, back to the keys, though, Jason. I'll tell you, I think it's going to be pretty simple, those three things. And again, first inning, Mitchell Verberg, you're seeing what Mitchell Verberg was supposed to be if he had stayed healthy, okay? And if you go back to his day-by-days, he got off to that good start. They got hurt. He was pitcher of the week. He and Solomon are back-to-back pitchers of the week. You're like, well, these guys won't be around very long. He gets hurt again, finally gets himself ready after taking that extended time off. And it was a bit of a bumpy ride. He had some ups and downs in August. And finally, the last three starts have been great for him. He had that one out against Fargo where he gave up the 4 runs in the first inning. We'll have to watch that. But, it's contagious, man. I think it's a really confident ball club, Jason, that's not cocky. It doesn't believe they've won anything yet, but they feel good about what they're doing. And it's a little thing. I don't know how many of the Monarchs rode the bus to Sioux City. I have no idea. I didn't get a head count. But I was on the impression that not all their team came up on the bus. Some of them drove their cars. That's fine. It happens all the time. Guys will bring their wives, families, whatever. I get it. We'll take their car, I get it. And we get a little of that in the early part of the year. We'll get some of that here and there. But this last 3 trips, every soul was on. Everybody that plays this ball club, including the injured, Hasler and Solomon Bates were on that bus. It's not a team. It's a team that really, it's the one little engine that could, but it's one big engine. I call it the little engine that could. Now, granted, everybody believes that these playoffs are set for you to win 1 and you to lose 2 in a row. That's what they're set up for. They've given a home field advantage to Kansas City, and more times than not, these 3-game series, the better team wins on the road and comes home and takes care of business. I think we learned a long lesson on Monday night. We learned a lesson last Wednesday night. And, Jason, I think, but again, those are simple keys, Jason. I know they sound kind of, they sound sort of, I don't know if they sound sort of simple, but again, you got to get good starting pitching. You're going to need to get 5. You get to 6, it's great. For Mitchell Verberg, you're going to have to do that. And he's going to have to get it through the first inning. Your approach is going to be very much what it's been. And what I love about this team, because they do a lot of little things, for example, moving runners, taking, their top 3 in the league in walks worked, earning walks. They do that. I think that to a degree is an advantage against a team that throws strikes, and you saw that. I mean, I think you felt like eventually you were going to get it. You were going to get one around with the hits you were getting the other night. Remember, on that line score at one point, you had like 8 hits, they had 2. Eventually, it's going to break through. The dam did finally break. But I would tell you again, Jason, starting pitching, got to get that and get you a lead of some sort. Would be 2 runs, 1 run, or whatever, and then you get your bullpen and let your bullpen do what the bullpen does. The wind today is blowing from the south. The flag's out. Now, the flags here are out in front of the building, which I'm facing the west. And the wind coming at the moment is coming out of the south. Now, I don't know if the wind is, if the building's protecting the wind from that direction, what it's doing. If it's more of a, if it's going that direction, which is going to left, straight out to the mini monster. That's a Jan Hernandez special right there. If it's blowing out toward the left, Jan Hernandez is going to be, they'll try to pull everything out over the wall. They all will. Keep the ball down. That's the key, Jason. Keep the ball down. So those are the things I would say. Let's see here. Take away the monster inning. We talked about that. Winning game 2. So Snito's tightly clinched backside. Just saw Enzo. Yeah, he's in the house too. Yeah, it's going to be, it'll be interesting. I mean, you've done what you had to do. Do you feel better today knowing you won on Monday? If you'd have lost on Monday, had to come here and win too. Now, I've been the other seat. I sat right across the way last year when Fargo came in, needed to win 2 ball games. Kansas City had a 1-0 lead in their own ballpark, and they couldn't shut the door. They lost game 2 and game 3. One of the leads, they had a lead in game 2, and I remember there was a bad error at first that cost 3 runs. I think Siliano may have launched one out of the ballpark too, and after that inning, if I remember correctly. And then they lost. Then they got really tight. They lost that last one. Pressure's all in Kansas City. I mean, yeah, Sioux City, yeah, sure. You don't want to play tomorrow, but you can. And it'll be nerve-wracking either way. And the X's don't seem to have, they don't seem to have, I mean, they'll be worried, they'll be pressured, be nervous. But all the world, I mean, Kansas City has to win this championship. Right? That's what they're built for. Championship or bust. So again, and I think the goal for the Explorers is still the same. Cristino, I don't know the numbers, okay? I just know that I do know that I was told by a very reliable source that they didn't have a lot of folks on the bus. Now, I don't know if it was 8, 10, or 20, but it wasn't the entire team. And because they got out of town really quick which is not uncommon. I'm not saying you would get out of town, but I traveled with that team for a while, so I know what it takes to get them packed up. And they have a big case that they roll, and they've got a lot of moving parts. There are some teams that are faster than others. Fortunately for me, I've worked with Greg Taggart, who was pretty efficient. He got out pretty quick. But Bongo and Joe Capietra, they are a little more deliberate, take a little more time. Not that they're slow. That's what I'm saying. But there's a whole process. They want to digest the game, take a moment and kind of look at the box score, and they're not just packing their stuff up and hauling ass. That's what they're doing. And team takes their time, and oftentimes it dictates where we're at. Here it doesn't matter because you walk back to the hotel. It makes no difference. But like in, say, Fargo, they want to be showered and all clean before they get in the bus to go back to the hotel. They don't want to, that's what they'll take more time. In a place like Chicago, a little more time. But here, you can walk over. But yes, Jerry's good, really good stuff. I'll get back to your comments. I want to get this one here, though, from Jerry. This is really good. Yes, we like to win, and so does the other team. If the game goes, if the game someone wins, yes, just play your best. Yeah, God bless you too. Amen to that. I mean, it's a game. Somebody's going to win, somebody's going to lose. Does that make you any less of a person? No. Does it make you any better? No. Does it make you proud? Sure. Does it accomplish a goal? Yes. But you're right. I totally agree. And Jerry, where I'm coming from, because my nerves are going to be pretty. I worked here. I'm not liked very well here. I mean, I was not wanted here. I'm wanted in Sioux City. I'm so thankful for that. I'm so blessed. But Monarchs didn't want me around. And So it's personal for me a little bit, and it'd be real hard for me to walk out of that stadium with a series loss. But it won't make me a less of a person, won't make me a less of a man, it won't make me a less of a human being. You're right. You're totally right. Totally right, Jerry. I think that's great. Stino says, and this is interesting. Again, I'm going back to what he said. Our team taking separate cars and riding together speaks to the point about culture mattering. It's not an anomaly that the team has been disjointed all season. And as you saw at Kansas City, something like riding the bus together means a lot. Now, granted, there are situations where it requires you don't ride the bus. For example, when Salmon got injured here, he rode back with Tom Backmeyer back to Sioux City to go see the doctor. Okay, I'm not talking about that. There have been some times when we've had family members travel for a longer road trip, and a player might ride, he's got a wife and a kid. They might ride with his wife and his kid. Out of safety, I get it. If you're going to drive all night from Fargo to wherever, you might want to be in the car with your wife and your kid. I totally get it. That's not what I'm talking about. Those situations, we have had times where we've gone to, say, a 2-city swing. We came here once this summer. We had a 3-city swing. We went here, and we didn't need 2 pitchers in Lincoln, and they didn't come. They came here. That happens. But that happens sometimes. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about sending a guy home early. Godot, for example, might not have made the trip on Monday, and I get it. Why would he? Unless he wanted to. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about this team. No one drove their cars down here to Kansas City to have a ride. They've all got, they're all doing the Uber or walking or whatever. And I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying that's something I've noticed this team has done. And I've been in parts of teams late in the year that don't do that. And I think you're right. I mean, it speaks to, a different mindset. But again, no right or wrong there. I just throw it out there because I think that it's good to see. I'm not talking about the drive from Chicago to Fargo. That was a beating. And I flew with about 4 or 5 other players. We flew. We had an off day. It was a $146 airfare check. I can avoid having to ride and get in at 3 a.m. because the next day your whole off day shot. I had work to do. And a couple of those pitchers wanted to get some rest as well. One was starting 2 days later. So, that's important. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about just as a collective. But when I hear, that's just what I was told. So I don't know if that's true or not, but you're right. Is 1 p.m. too early for the grill? No. The grill could always be, there's never too early a time for the grill, especially if it's outside of the tailgate atmosphere or on your patio. No, never too early. Never too early. Never. Never. Especially the brats that you got. Get those green onion brats, mate, then, yeah. Or the Tiefenthalers. Put it this way. One night, 2 weeks ago, I went to the local Hy-Vee there in Sioux City and grabbed me some Tiefenthalers on a Sunday. And I fired my Foreman grill up in my kitchen to grab some Tiefenthalers after I got home from the ballpark. So it's never too late. It's never too early for that. So, yeah, never too early for the grill. Yeah, I agree with you on that. Never too early for the grill. All right, tonight, it'll be Mitchell Verberg. And again, like I said, going back all summer, you feel really good about your rotation. I like the fact, and I guess this goes back to what I said earlier, I like the fact that Mongo never really panicked, okay? He left his rotation as is and added to it. It seems like in this Kansas City case, and again, I'm only watching from outside, but they added a lot of pieces, more so than they usually do, to try to find that missing whatever it was they were missing. And, I don't know if I'm spot on or not on or whatever, but just, they've got a lot of bodies that I mentioned on Monday night we had not seen, we had not faced. Now, Godot was one of them. He just got here recently, right? Am I correct? Let's see here. Ashton Godot, veteran. Yeah, he's making his 5th start. He got here, or his first start was August 18th against Fargo. He is more the strikeout guy. Well, I shouldn't say that because really Groats is the strikeout guy, didn't strike anybody out. He's had the 9 strikeout performance against Lincoln. He lost to Sioux City 3 innings, 2 runs, 5 hits, and a 4-1 loss. Here was his third start. Sioux Falls, 5 innings, 3 hits, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. It's a really good Falls offense. I think what you saw there too in that Falls series with Kansas City was Sioux Falls pitching staff is not even close to what Sioux City, Chicago, Milwaukee, and Kansas City had. And I think you saw that. I think you saw it big time. But he went a 9-1 winner, got run support. He got run support on the 23rd, a 9-3 winner, but will not be easy. Regular season, 2-1 at 2.57. In 14 innings, he struck out 15. But the X's did squeeze runs out of him. And, the numbers tell you that this guy's really, really good, and he is really good. The big leagues last year. So what do? You not play? Do you just not show up? You don't play the game? I mean, what do you do, right? Well, hell yeah, you can play the game. You take your chances. And it will not be, I agree with whoever said earlier, it won't be a 9-1 whatever, but if you do what you got to do, you should be fine. And I think too, it will be white knuckle time, but I feel good about the stable of arms you got in your bullpen, that if it is a tight ball game, it is 0-0 in the 7th or 1-0 in the 7th. What you got to do is not fall big behind. You can't, if you fall behind big, and I say 4-5 runs big, you're probably in trouble. It'll be church. But if you hang in there, if you're down 1-0 through 6, they haven't come back to win this year, I don't think this bullpen's going to get anything else up. Should be a great matchup. Delicious playoff baseball here. What else do you guys got here as we're about to close things out and get back up to the room or over to the room and get the rest of the game notes done, which are waiting in the wings to get wrapped up. Game time tonight, of course, 7 o'clock here. We got, of course, 2 different ways to watch us. You can watch us, baseball TV, but it's very much a video call for them. It's a radio call for us, but we don't really follow. They have their breaks and commercials and the same loop that runs, but you're going to hear our audio over it. Who's pitching in for us? It'll be Mitchell Verberg, who came off that really good outing last Friday. Hey, Verberg pitched in a tight game at home and a 2-0 ball game. Pretty good. Ashton Godot going for them. But, back to good to see Casey, by the way. There we go. Baseball. Now here, I believe they go in a little later because they do a shorter pregame and they do some things on the field with their broadcaster and all that. They don't do what we do, which is fine. We have a full-blown broadcast pregame. That'll begin at 6:30 tonight. You bet, man. I know. Hey, I get it. That's why I'm here. No late questions, mate. You're all good. You're all good, Casey. I appreciate you. And then on the radio side, which that's going to have all the bells and whistles that you get on a normal radio broadcast. I know a lot of folks trying to bury the radio, but don't bury radio, man. Baseball's great, the radio. That'll be right at 6:30. Well, just between 6:30 and 6:35. Stop sentence at 6:36, but I'll try to bump it a little earlier. We'll talk to Mongo tonight. I'm going to dive in a little bit more of the 1894 team. I know it's a long, long time ago. I can still remember. Yeah, I can't remember 1894. But that was the first championship ever brought to Sioux City. Pretty cool. I mean, they were really, really, really good in that one year. In a wacky time of baseball where leagues popped up and went away all the time, this one eventually becomes the American League and sets the wheels in motion to eventually form a major league. But anyway, You just got the sun the same out on Monday night. Sorry to say, but he wears it better. Okay, well, okay. These dad hats? What these are? How old is he? Is he a kid or is he old like me? Let's see here. This is my on-air hat here. Let's see here, Brian. What was the? But appreciate it, Don. Appreciate it. Hey, I have a face for radio. I admit it. Okay, I admit it. Let's go. Alexis will be tuned in, Bonnie. Good to hear that. But not. I love that. I think it's funny. Hey, I love these. I love the hat. I love the state of Iowa on there. I think that's so cool. And really, it's kind of cool because it's not Hawkeye colors. It's Cyclone a little bit, but not really. I mean, Cyclones are what? Aren't they orange and red? Or yellow and red, right? Anyway, Brian says, what was the record for KC versus the X's? This year, Sioux City, when the regular season was 9-3. The X's won 9 ball games, lost 3 in the head-to-head, and then you add the postseason, it's now 14-3. Actually, 10-3. Last year, by the way, Sioux City went 7-5. I believe the only team in the division that the Monarchs did not beat were, I'll take that back. They also lost the series to Lincoln, I think. But Lincoln made the post. No, that's wrong. They played Lincoln the postseason and had no trouble. I can't remember what. It was close. Maybe they did win that series. I know they lost to Sioux City last year, but beat everybody else in the division. 3:30. Yes, 3:30 bus time for you folks want to catch the bus. Thank you, Rick. Appreciate it, mate. Someone needs to ban Don. Oh, no, Don. It's all good. I'm a face for radio. I get it. Hey, I'm an easy target, right? Love you guys, though. Love everybody who's tuned in, even our Kansas City mates here. Love you guys a lot. Let's see here. Yeah, okay. That's interesting. Stino brings a really good question up, and let me walk you through that thinking, okay? Should we check out tonight and check back in, right? What do you do? Well, remember, you got the rooms blocked, right? The home team blocks the rooms for the visiting team. Now, if they had blocked it for tonight and for tomorrow, not knowing, but they'd tell you, well, we can't guarantee, we don't know if we're going to need them on that next night. Well, what's the hotel got to do? They got to hold them, and then what happens if the series ends tonight and they got stuck with a bunch of rooms that they got to sell? So months ago, they can add that inventory out and selling it. So the rooms are blocked for 2 nights, and this happens. It happened a couple of years ago in the 21 season, back in the 5-game series. Sioux City hosted Kansas City for games. Remember Kansas City played the weekend? Series? They played a Friday and a Saturday, I think it was. And they went down on Monday. I think that's the case. And they played Monday night, Tuesday night. Well, Kansas City won that Monday night. They stayed over and came back on Tuesday because you couldn't check out. You could, but you didn't know if you were going to need it or not. So that's the reason why. So, yeah, we're staying over tonight no matter what. So it all depends if we're leaving tomorrow morning, midday, or we're leaving tomorrow night after the game. We're not arrogant enough to pack our bags and say we don't win, we're going to sleep in the streets or something like that. But we're here tonight no matter what. And when Fargo came to town over the weekend, they did the same thing. On Friday night, Fargo had the hotel Friday and Saturday. Thursday, Friday. So they stayed over Friday night and left to Fargo on Saturday. So, yeah, that's sort of the case. That's not usually the case in the regular season. It's a really good point that's done right there. Let's see, where are we at here? Jason, debating whether to wear my Edcock t-shirt. Man, you do you. What works for you? I'm debating myself. Do I wear the same shirt I wore last Wednesday? It's clean. I've washed it. Do I wear the same shirt I wore last Wednesday? Or do I go dress up? Because I brought I mean, I couldn't make my mind up, so I had to bring a bigger suitcase. Do I wear do I wear dressier stuff, or do I wear the shirt I wore last, which is a nice shirt, but I've worn it 1,000 times in the air, but I wore it last Wednesday. That's my dilemma. Or do I wear the tie tonight? What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? It's a tough one. Let's see here. Play Hearts out tonight. You guys deserve it? Yes. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. They will play their hearts out. Don't tell anybody, but that guy looks a lot like Matt Lloyd just walked behind me. There he goes. That's him right there. Wait, hello, folks. There he is. Don't tell anybody. He looks a lot like him. Let's see here. Molly Ann says, we're watching. Were you guys at the office? Did y'all left yet? You guys were heading down, I thought. Are you guys here? I thought y'all were heading down. I thought the whole crew was coming in. Thought. Rick, all right, you asked for it, Rick. All right, so there you go. There you go. There's your answer. Rick's worn the same trunks all year. Granted, what people should wear to the game, the dress code is long sleeves and puppy vest. Oh, you drew me off sides there, Chris. You drew me off sides. I will leave that joke in your Discord, okay? If you watch the AA baseball, maybe you can figure it out. The train's on the way. All right. You guys are coming down. Be a good group tonight. There'll be some Exodus fans there. I know John, I believe, is coming down. I know Tom and the gang from the office. You just heard Molly's coming down. Sam and Tara. I don't know who else, but that'll be the crew that'll be here tonight. And they were leaving around lunchtime. It's lunchtime now, so all good. But all right. Again, keys to the night. Pretty simple. Do what you've been doing. Do what you've been doing. You're not, it's like I asked Bonga, the very first thing I think I said to him in segment 2 on Monday night is you don't change anything, right? I mean, you change your approach, for example, how you might pitch Chris Herman, right? MVP of the league. Yes, you do. You might, your individual scouting reports may dictate how you work a certain batter, but the overall game plan of what you're trying to do doesn't change really. And you're facing guys around the plate, your approach to the plate doesn't change. The things you've done against McGovern, against Davis, against whoever, they don't change. And things you've done defensively, the things you've done offensively don't change. You're going to put pressure on them the way you've done it. You're not going to stop putting the ball in play, trying to steal bases, trying to work walks. You're not all of a sudden going to decide, well, you know what? We're here. Let's hit home runs. You don't change a thing, and that's what's going to happen. That's what Bongo's going to tell us tonight. Sure, if you get the Sioux City Tenors, it's the Sioux City Songbirds, but I don't know who else coming down from that bunch. I don't think Mike's coming. I don't know. Songbirds, but Tenors is pretty funny though. I hope we get one more win, one more home game this year. Yeah, we'll talk all about that. Should we advance? And it's going to be a white knuckle ride. The fasten seatbelt sign will be on the entire broadcast. We won't not turn it on. It's one of those nights where the captain's telling the passengers when we've talked to air traffic control that's going to be a little bumpy the whole way. So we're going to leave the fasten seatbelt sign on. All right. Doesn't mean you can't still enjoy the flight. And we will enjoy the flight regardless. Game time tonight, 7 o'clock. KSCJ there. I mentioned that a moment ago. I think wrapping up. Just in general, I think enjoy it, embrace it, embrace the ride, man. It's, this thing there's some storylines here that are, if you know Sioux City and know the ball club, it's some storylines that are really interesting, that are really delicious. And, you can't make some of these things up, and it makes it for a fun time. But these two teams will give it all they have tonight and hopefully wrap it up. Makes Thursday a lot easier. You don't, you play tomorrow night. Either way. You asked me, what would I predict? predict a great ball game. I think Sioux City will represent well tonight. Brian says, "Yeah, you're right. No, you're right. You're right. You're right on. Yeah, if you've not figured it, if you're changing things today, right, you might have a panic button going, right? You might have the alarm, all the alarms sounding on the ship, right? I mean, like, you're right. And again, I expect to see Kansas City trying to put the ball at the ballpark. I expect to see them go long. I expect to see that approach. That's what they do. They play for the 3-run home run. That's what they do. You give a solo home run up, I think you'll feel a lot better. You're right on. No, I'm not. No. That's not what I meant exactly. But yeah, the ball. No. Because yes, I used to work here, and yes, it didn't end well for whatever reason. That's all behind me. But it'd be great. Here's the deal. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. Yes, it mean a lot to me tonight to go forward. But I'll tell you what I'd like to see, I've been in this league since 13, but to see John Roos and see Steve Montgomery win a title and Bobby Post, that would be really special. Because I've watched this franchise from afar battle with a really awesome team in 15. Maybe the best team that never win the championship. Had the hard luck in 19 against St. Paul, was revenge tour. The year before they lost to Kansas City. Got knocked around by the best team maybe the association's had in 21. They were the better team on paper in 18 and lost a hard-fought series at home. They've had some heartbreak in the postseason. And I would love to see them move forward and love to see this franchise organization, whatever you want to call it, go forward and celebrate the high pinnacle. It's much like the Fargo story was last year. Fargo had not been to the mountaintop of this league. They've been close, but they had kind of, their glory days in the Northern League. And looking forward, really want to see that. Yeah, me personally, sure. I don't want to walk out the tail between my legs. But outside of Houston, and a couple of other fans, no one's going to acknowledge my presence anyway. It doesn't make any difference. I'm not on the field. It didn't matter. I'm just calling the game. It doesn't matter. What I think of what I do, I'm just blessed to be here. So anyway, all right, you guys, love everybody. Love you all tonight. I'll see you on the broadcast. I get down bullpen top. I would watch a couple things tonight. One, how does Kansas City's defense hold up? Can they hold up? Will they make the big blunder? Two, this is a big one. Neither team's been big on the base pass, in the postseason. Sioux City was very, very quiet in the bases against Fargo. I don't think Kansas City had to do much running against Sioux Falls. Didn't make a difference. And get to the first inning. Those are the keys, I think, tonight. How's cricket doing in Texas? They had a really good reception in their August or late July, early August round. They came, I don't know what the numbers were the second time. The first time through, they had really good crowds around capacity for the cricket, which is being played, by the way, tied it back in to where the old Air Hogs played there in Grand Prairie. And they have turned that into the National Cricket Ground in this cricket league, which anybody knows me, I was watching. As a matter of fact, last night, it's funny you should ask that, Brian. I was watching Sri Lanka and England women's cricket last night. It was on some random channel in the hotel, and I was watching cricket. It was ridiculous. But you guys are going, what's wrong with this guy? And it's very much like watching paint dry, but then again, it's not. So, yeah, they had a really good reception. With a melting pot of people that live in that area, and a lot of people from those what they call the subcontinent, from India. There's a lot of, and Pakistan and Sri Lanka. They're all big cricket countries. There are a lot of students there. They had a lot of really good players from that neck of the woods, and the Caribbean, the West Indies too. So, but yeah. Anyway, all right. Let's shut it down here. Let's shut it down. Ron, you ready? I'm ready. We're all ready. We're all ready. For some 1, 2, 3 go X's. I'm ready. I'll see you on the broadcast tonight. Here we go. All right, 1, 2, 3. Go X's. I'll see you on the broadcast tonight, everybody.